Hey, this is Ricky Potts, Digital Communications Manager for Tring Golf. This is not a typical Friday foursome hangout here for the Google Plus Golf community, but I was excited whenever I got the opportunity to meet with and chat about the Enhancement project going on at Auction Southern Dunes Golf Club in Maricopa, Arizona, with Brady Wilson, who's the general manager down there. And I said, hey, why don't you come on? We'll do a special Google Plus hangout on air and talk about that Enhancement project because there is a lot of stuff going on down there at the golf course, and I wanted to just take a couple of minutes this afternoon to introduce you to Brady and to talk about the Enhancement project. So, Brady, welcome to a special edition Google Plus Hangout.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
This is going to be fun because I've not done one of these yet, and I think this is a great opportunity to be able to introduce not only the enhancement that's happening and the changes that are taking place at the golf course, but to talk about kind of the history behind the enhancements and then what changes are being made. I mean, every time I talk to you, I feel like it's getting on a longer and longer list of things you're doing to improve that golf course. So maybe take a couple of seconds to talk about the history behind it and where it got started and where the idea for this enhancement project began.
Yeah, and it is a long story, so I apologize in advance for that. But the golf course was built in 2001. Schmidt Curley design with a little help from Fred Couples, and the golf course is known as a premier design. The golf course did fall under some hard times. Changed ownership hands 4 times. And there's some deferred capital there, and there's some deferred maintenance practices that kind of caught up to the facility. So the whole thing really started with the condition of our bunkers. If you've come out and played our golf course, and they weren't awful, but they had deteriorated to a point where they were really contaminated. Not all of them were lined to begin with. The ones that were lined were starting to come up. The liners were starting to come up. And not all of them were drained properly in initial construction. So we knew we were going to have some challenges, and that was going to catch up to us at some point. So it really started as a bunker renovation where we would go in, tear out all the existing sand, tear out all the liner that was left, what was left of it, repair any drainage that was there, put drainage in the bunkers that didn't have any drainage, and then from there, reestablish liners and reestablish new sand. And that was originally the original project. Now, as we got into that portion of this project, none of the original drainage was permissible to use. So we actually have put in completely new drainage in every single bunker on the golf course. So every bunker has brand new 2014 drainage, brand new 2014 lining, and brand new sand. So it's really, that's the major part of this that started. The other part of it was, there are always, when you have that much equipment that you're bringing onto a property to do some bunkers, there's always the consideration of, okay, when you have 500,000 square feet of sand, is it all necessary, and can we make some reduction of that and turn those into grassy native areas? And so we brought in Schmidt Curley again. Brian Curley came down with Grant, who's his lead design team expert now, and we drove through the property a couple times, and we made some strategic decisions to reduce some of the bunker square footage, not that would impact the better player, but that would only help the average player. So everybody knows from the beginning golfer to the most experienced golfer, the hardest shot in golf is the long bunker shot, the 30-yard bunker shot. And we had quite a few spots on this golf course where that was in play. So those were some of the bunkers that we looked at removing, and we have done that. Then there was also, we have these large waste area bunkers, but they play as real bunkers. So we've also taken the opportunity to reduce some of those. So when you start getting into a little bit of a renovation of the bunker's structure, now you start getting into some design aspects. You're going to be in for a significant amount of work that you also kind of look at, hey, what are the other things that we are going to do out here maybe that aren't necessarily pressing issues, but when you have an opportunity to have this much equipment out here, you want to make sure that you're capitalizing on it, because one of the largest expenses in construction is mobilization of equipment and contracting and all that. So the 17th hole is a blind shot. There's dunes between the tee boxes, and in fact, the further back you go, the more open the hole gets, right? So the better golfer has the better line of sight, and the better kind of perspective. The forward tee, where the white tees would be or the blue tees would be, and then the forward tee where we would put our red tees, were completely blocked out. In fact, we had a 10-foot flagstick for that hole. So, I've met a lot of people in golf communities that really like the blind shot par 3. You see a lot of it in Scotland and in Ireland, and it's kind of a neat, you don't see a lot of them. But honestly, for us being a destination and where 85% of our rounds are first-time rounds, it's not the most enjoyable thing for our golfers. So we did knock those dunes down actually last week. There's some video on our Facebook page of the bulldozer actually knocking them down, and I think we tweeted it out too. So it's out there, and it's kind of, so we took that opportunity to renovate that hole and kind of make it a little more user-friendly. And then the real cool thing that I think the community got behind, and certainly I was part of the conversations from the get-go, was really taking our practice facility to the next level. I mean, a lot of people are talking about grow the game, but there are a lot of limitations with growing the game. People don't understand that, for every yin, there's a yang when it comes to grow the game efforts. So, what we're doing is really, I think, one of the more aggressive steps forward in progress for growing the game, and I feel very excited to be a part of it. There's nothing like it anywhere really in North America. A little bit in China, but not a lot here. What we are doing is we have a practice facility, and we are regrading the entire floor of the practice facility. So what used to be just a couple pop-up target greens and some grass is now going to have 6 major life-size greens for targets. It'll be a practice facility by morning, and then at twilight, our twilight rounds are no longer going to include the practice facility, which I'm sure is a trade-off in some aspect, but we are going to open it up as a 6-hole short course. We're building tee boxes, we're maintaining them like greens, and so all the holes, I went out and shot the laser yardages yesterday. We have 2 short ones, 2 medium ones, and 2 long ones. The shortest one's 50-some yards. The longest one's 109. Okay? So I can take, and when you talk about the Auction Indian community having owned this golf course since 2010, a lot of their community members haven't had the opportunity to learn the game of golf and grow up with the game of golf like other areas have. So when I say grow the game, we all kind of think immediately go to junior golf, and certainly we're going to have a great junior golf presence with this short course. It is going to be the place to come learn the game of golf if you're a junior, no doubt about that. But the ancillary benefit is I think we have an opportunity to really grow the game from the adult too down here, and not just our community members, but members of the Maricopa community down here in Maricopa. But I think we reach all the way into Phoenix. I think if you want to learn the game, we're putting in advanced putt-putt down here. I mean, it is really, really cool, and I'm excited about it. I think that it's going to be fun for a junior to learn the game. I think it's going to be fun for a novice adult to learn the game, and I think it's going to be great for the 12-guy buddy trip that's out here when they get done with their round and they're still tied. I can see him grabbing, the to-go cup and a ball, a putter, and a wedge, and you got another hour of fun out there, So I really think it's going to cater to a lot of different people, and we are getting a Series 6 liquor license, so that it's legal now. Not it was that we were beer and wine only prior to this year. So, that's how that all happened. Like, it starts as a bunker project, and you kind of look at what else you're looking at doing. And when you start talking about growing the game and what we can do and making the golf course easier for the average golfer, but not take away from the championship level that it's been come to known by for the experienced golfer. And we host a lot of championship golf events out here. And when you do that, you can't take away from that. It's hard to cater to both, and I think we've done a really good job with that. I mean, we put in a new back tee on number 1. We added some yardage. We expanded the bunker on one fairway that kind of was in the middle of the right side, and you could kind of shoot the gap on the right-hand side a little bit and cut some yardage off. We took that bunker all the way to the native area now and expanded it. So now the hole has to be played the way it was designed, and it's 460 from the back tee. So, you got to hit it out to the left, and then you're going to have a mid-iron into that green. But we also opened up that green a little bit, which was guarded by a bunker in front. We opened it up a little bit now, so the average golfer might roll it in there a little bit. So the first hole is a microcosm of the whole project. We're doing everything we can to take care of the championship golfer, but we're also doing everything we can to assist the average golfer, the middle handicapper, so that they enjoy the game. And some strategic new tee boxes that should help with pace of play. So I really don't see a negative to anything we're doing down here. I mean, we've really gone above and beyond. And I mean, at this point, it's public knowledge. I mean, this is a $2 million plus project that the community has invested. So, the Auction Indian community couldn't be any better ownership group, and they really want to grow the game. They want to be a part. This is their golf course forever. Okay, they bought this golf course. It connects their feed of trust land, or what we refer to as feed of trust land. It's a reservation land, to the Gila River feed of trust land. So it's continuous Native American land from up at I-10 all the way to Maricopa. So this is a golf course they own forever, and they want it to be the best it can possibly be. And I really think that what we're doing out here is going to take it to that next level from an experience standpoint, for quality of experience with the bunkers, more enjoyment for the average golfer, still a great challenge for the championship golfer, and pace of play is going to go down, and it's a great place to learn how to play the game. So, at this point, it's all positive. It's great.
Well, that is awesome, and I played it right before you started this enhancement project, so I'm excited once it's all finished to come back and see how it changes. And I won't be playing from the back tees to start things off with a 460-yard par 4. That's like a par 5 where I come from. But I'm really excited to see all of the changes, and I'm so pumped about the practice facility that you're talking about. So a couple of points before I let you respond to that. First, are you going to name it? And I think that, and we have talked about this, but I think you should name it #MiniDunes, because that just makes sense. And two, is it going to be able to be, can I go play it 3 times and count that towards my handicap? And then I think more importantly, I'm curious is, how are we going to keep the greens up, I mean, no pun intended, up to par? I mean, because if people all day long are hitting iron shots to those prepping to go play golf, they're going to be covered with ball marks. So kind of maybe talk about those 3 things if you could.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, great questions. #MiniDunes is an option. We also are looking at a community, the native language down here is Octum language, and we are looking at a community, a translation. I don't know if they have one for hashtag yet, but we'll see. But there are some options. Certainly, MiniDunes was the original kind of off-the-cuff expression that we've referred to it as. And to this point, I'm not sure we've found a lot that's better. I know that we are going to run a Facebook contest, not necessarily to name it or Twitter or whatever, but we're not necessarily going to, just to get suggestions. So you make sure you log in and give us that suggestion.
Oh, I will be first in commenting on those posts.
So that is where we are right now. It is kind of referred to as the MiniDunes, for lack of a better expression. And as we get a little bit closer, I mean, we're certainly going to finalize that here in the next couple days. To your next question, it's designed to be 6 holes, so that we do have yardages. We will plan on getting it rated by the Arizona Golf Association, so that if you played it 3 times, you could post a score. It will meet the minimum yardage. So we're looking forward to that.
I like how you call one of the holes long at 109 yards.
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm going to digress a little bit here on the long. I mean, if you think about my daughter, who is 10 years old and hits the ball, when she crushes it with the driver, she hits it 100 to 150 yards, okay? And, I mean, she's a pretty skilled golfer because she grew up around it, but she's not like a phenom either, right? So, I mean, I kind of use her as a gauge, as a barometer. when you're giving golf lessons to beginning women or beginning golfers, the first time that they get a 7-iron in the air and they see it go like 75, 80 yards down the fairway, they're excited. So, I mean, it's one of the biggest excitements for a beginning golfer is when they hit a ball like 70 yards in the air with a 7-iron. So if you think about a championship golfer's hitting a golf ball with a 7-iron, usually twice that or 3 times that, right? I mean, the guys on tour are hitting 7-irons 200 yards now. So if you start thinking about the percentages, you know, what we've done is we've built the kiddie pool, we've built the bunny slope, we've put the small basketball hoops on the basketball hoop to bring it down to 7 feet with a smaller basketball. We've brought the game to scale to the ability, not necessarily to the size of the player, which is what you run into in some of the other sports, but we've brought the size of the game down in scale to the ability. And so, you know, we're not going to throw you out on 460 on the first hole where you got to carry a bunker. You know, I mean, we're going to put you out at 109, and yeah, that may not be, you know, that's not long by golf standards, but for somebody picking up the game, that's a 2-shot hole. And so now you teach them to hit a ball off the tee for position, hit an approach shot in. If they miss it, you teach them some short game technique, and you start talking about game management, short-siding yourself, missing it long, leaving yourself room. So I really do think that we've got the yardages right to make it enjoyable. The last part of your question there was how are we going to maintain it, and certainly with every great idea comes challenge, and we know that that's going to be a major concern. Certainly, it's going to not be maintained to the championship golf course green speeds, and we aren't hiding that from anybody. I mean, in order to keep it at that level, we'd have to close the practice facility down for a significant amount of time after overseeding because of watering, right? And watering makes the green soft and more receptive to more ball marks, and it's a vicious cycle. So there is a plan at this point where we will not overseed the target greens. They will remain Bermuda year-round, which if you've played on dormant Bermuda during the winter, they're good. They're fast. They're a little off color, so we might paint them, you know, and what have you, but we're not going to plan on overseeding them because the amount of water that we would have to use to overseed them would keep them much more susceptible to ball marks than what we want. So the first thing is we're going to keep it firm. The greens are going to be firm. They're going to be fast, Bermuda, and we're going to keep that year-round. And the second thing is, you know, it's just good old-fashioned sweat labor. I mean, we're going to get out there and fix ball marks every day.
That's awesome.
And, you know, we're going to have and, you know, listen, this is a pure golf experience down here. We use that as a tagline. The golf purist, the golf enthusiast plays down here. You know, we're going to have one of those little swirly deals where you drop the ball in, you know, like old school. Like, we're going to have one of those on the first tee for the short course. So, you know, we're going to probably have a request to have our golfers that are going out there help us with that. I mean, we're going to fix ball marks, but we're going to ask you as you play to fix a lot of ball marks, because it was a practice facility in the morning, and it will be bumpy, and you know, I mean, fix them in your line. I mean, we're going to have some of those challenges, but I don't think it will take away from the experience as much as one might think. I mean, I've played golf courses in the upper Midwest during the summer when it rains up there, and you know, they look like a leopard, and so, you know, you kind of learn how to deal with it. So it certainly is a trade-off, but it's one we're very aware of. I mean, again, we won't overseed it. We're going to do an aggressive top dressing program. We're going to send the staff out. I mean, we got to pick the range clean every day, right? So staff members are going to go pick with the cart. Other staff members are going to hand pick, and then they're going to fix ball marks. They're going to fix ball marks. That's part of their job. So
that's a dedication that is something that's going to play into the experience that you've talked about and that you get when you play that golf course, and it goes beyond just the experience on the golf course. After or before the round, Grille 109 rocks. The food in there is great. You've got an awesome tap list of craft beers. Yeah. Now, Grille 109, before we talk about the changes to that, one, where did Grille 109 come from? And two, what's going to happen? Because the name 109, and I know the answer to this, but everyone watching doesn't. What's going to happen to the name of the restaurant, and have you figured out what that new brand is going to look like going forward?
So yes, Grille 109 was named after the 109 bunkers on the golf course. So probably when it was named that, no one really knew that we were going to be doing a renovation within 3 or 4 years. So, we could make something up and keep it, but it's an opportunity to rebrand it as well. And so Grille 109 goes away, and we are going to connect the restaurant somehow to the community's culture. I have some pronunciations and I have some translations, and we're kind of working through that to make sure that it's not only respectful to the community and the community's culture, to connect it back in a way that they're comfortable with, but also, easy to say by our average golfer that's coming through, and easy to recognize and not confusing, and we don't need the staff correcting them every time they mispronounce something, So that's a tough dynamic. But what I can tell you is that the Ak-Chin culture has, it's a gathering community, it's an agricultural community, and some of the coolest things that their elders do are literally basket making, and their baskets are, they're displayed all over the world, and when council goes to places like when they went to the Super Bowl host committee handoff in New York this year, they were, they brought those as gifts to the people. So it's a tremendous historical cultural item, and so we're going to try to connect it back to that. So you'll see some, so for lack of expression, the basket grill, but we're going to find some sort of community connection there. And you'll see that we're going to get some baskets made, get them framed, put the artist's name at the bottom of the, and have those be our decor on the walls. So that's part of our rebranding there. New menu covers, new glassware, what everyone wants to know, new TVs. So bigger, faster, and better TVs. And, we'll kind of go from there. And I think we'll see, Grille 109 for this, our restaurant for this area, Maricopa, 40,000 people. It's the second best restaurant in Maricopa, behind the Range Steakhouse at the casino. And then you have Grille 347, which is also owned by the community. So the community has the 3 best restaurants, and after that, it's a fall off to pick your favorite fast food. So we have a strong restaurant dining clientele here. So the restaurant does kind of have to have a little bit of its own brand, right? I mean, it does kind of have to have the ability to stand alone as a restaurant, and because of that, it's important how we brand it, and really that we do connect it to Southern Dunes. So if it's for the basket grill at Southern Dunes is going to be a real part of that, because we need, people, I'm going out to dinner at Southern Dunes. It's not always we're going out to Grille 109. So we just need to make sure that we're branding the property as a whole and letting people know how good our restaurant is, which it is good. And we do have 8 beers on tap, 6 of which are craft beers, 1 of which is Ska, which is my buddies up in Durango, Colorado. Which there's a long story about that I've shared with you, Ricky. But we carry Odell's wheat on there. We carry Odell's 5-barrel pale ale with nitro. And we also have Avery Brown on, and that in Orange Blossom, Papago Orange Blossom. And then we carry some of the Santan Devil's Ale and Epicenter. So we've got a pretty good craft beer line going, and then we're going to continue to grow that. Right now we got Ska Pinstripe on, so I highly recommend the Ska.
Yeah, I bet you do. We should have a separate hangout that is completely unrelated to talk about the Ska Brewing. So the golf course is still open, and that's the coolest thing for me, is that I can still come down there and play golf. Now, but you're doing this renovation and the enhancements. How can the golf course still be open? Are you doing anything to help entice people to come down there? And has that affected your time par? I'm sure that it has. I mean, it's got to have been cut in half.
So we had 9 holes. We're only doing 9 holes at a time. Okay, so 9 holes. The front 9 was closed, and we had the back 9 open. So the back 9 was open for play up until July 21st. So that deadline has come and gone, and now the front 9 has reopened. We kind of had to back it down a little bit, limited play until this Friday, just to let some of the sprigged areas, the seeded areas, take hold. And we're going to be cart path only this week just because of the amount of water we're throwing. But we are planning on Friday and Saturday and Sunday this weekend to kind of go off the paths and be back to fully operational. And that will be the renovated front 9. You'll be playing out of our brand new bunkers. You won't be playing the new tee boxes yet because they're still sodded and growing in. And the expansion areas where we've increased the turf to kind of make it a little bit more friendly, those are seeded, so those will be roped and staked. And if you hit your ball in there, you kind of got to look at it. And we'll try to figure out a way to get you some golf balls. But so there's some areas where it's construction and you got to kind of bear with us a little bit. But yeah, it's that. So we've committed to having 9 holes open all summer. And then that first week in September is when we'll kind of reopen the backside, and we'll be kind of limited on that side a little bit too. So we'll have 18 holes open there for the month of September. And then we close for overseeding after PGA Tour Q School. So we got to be tournament championship condition ready by the first week in October.
No pressure. No pressure.
No pressure whatsoever. But Kelly McCaffrey is as good a superintendent as we have in all of Trin Golf. I love that guy. I mean, gives me chills, goosebumps talking about him. I mean, he is so good. Jeff Poling and Ron Despain have been down here from our corporate office, and they, honestly, this project probably doesn't happen without those guys' resources. They are so awesome at what they do. And, our community is so thankful for Trin Golf's involvement, and obviously Trin Golf is supportive of what Chin's wanting to do. So we're really, really pleased to have those people involved. I mean, and it's a large challenge, and I have absolutely no doubt that we will put on a great show in October. Then we close down for overseeding, and we reopen November 1st. So, November 1st will be open, fully operational, overseeded areas except for the practice greens on the short course, the mini dunes, hashtag. So, I think it'll be, I'm not too worried. I mean, it's construction. I mean, so you kind of at this point, it's not even construction. It's photosynthesis, right? It's Mother Nature. It's air, water, and sunlight. So hopefully she treats us well and things come through. But I'm pretty confident on our timeline. O&J Construction's doing the construction, and they've been very easy to work with and very, very good. They did the greens at Talking Stick the last couple of years, so we have a good relationship with them with Trin Golf. So I feel very, very confident in all the players. But it really does come back to Kelly McCaffrey and his team on our on-site agronomy team. I mean, there's not enough words that you can say about how good he is at what he does.
So maybe 2 months ago, on GolfWorks, golfwrx.com, there was a couple of people that were talking about the enhancements, and it wasn't that they were negative, but they just didn't have the encouragement and the excitement that everybody else has, and especially now as we're moving forward closer. I mean, it'll be here before you know when the facility will be open and fully operational. And you jumped in and you left, I mean, hands down the most professional and perfect response to that. And then everyone that had potentially negative comments came back and were like, wow, thank you for jumping in and saying that and listening to what we had to say. Are you getting a lot of feedback from not only just the Golf WRX folks, but from people playing the course and that are concerned with this enhancement?
Well, the GolfWorks bunch is they are a very knowledgeable and usually, I mean, not all of them, but a pretty highly skilled group too. And I think that the concern, if there's any feedback of concern, it's coming from that championship level player or that golf enthusiast that's like, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Okay. And what I've tried to really explain to everybody is the practice facility isn't going to impact you unless you're a twilight golfer and you like to hit a lot of golf balls, okay? Because you're still going to have the ability to hit balls before your round in the morning, and it's just growing the opportunity there. The two areas, and then the bunkers, the bunkers were bad by all accounts. I mean, they were very inconsistent. So not all of our bunkers were bad, but they were inconsistent throughout the property. Hard lies, fluffy lies. And some of our golf course, some of our shots out here, if you have played out here in any sort of wind, you can get shots that are literally unplayable out of bunkers, right? Hard pan lie, on downhill bunker, onto a downhill green. Good luck. We got to give those people an opportunity to play, under conditions that people have come to expect in North America and from Troon Golf. Okay, if you go to Scotland, they would say tough, don't hit it in there, and I get that. But at the same time, we do have to cater, a little bit to the expectations that people that have when they come on vacation to Arizona and play a top 100 type facility, which we are, right? So, we're really conscious about that. So there was a little bit of kind of like, if it's not broke, why are we changing it? Why are you taking the bunker out on 8, which we reduced? We actually listened to some feedback there, and we went from a complete fill-in to a partial fill-in to keep the shape of the hole. So, that community, I value their opinion, and it was a good interaction, and I got some good feedback about, well, don't take the whole bunker out on 8. And as we looked at it, that was actually something that the architect and everybody thought was a good compromise, was to take half of that bunker. Fill in the greenside bunker on 5. Well, it's not really a greenside bunker. It's 30 yards off the green, and some people are like, well, that's my target off the tee. Well, you'll find a new target, I promise. So, there's probably a little, but I would say that has been by far the minority. The majority of the feedback is, oh, thank God you're taking the hills down on 17. Okay. Even John Easterbrook, our CEO with Troon Golf, first time he played it was this April with the University of Wyoming Cowboy Joe event. And he came around after he started on 10, and he came around at the turn. And we were having the pre-construction meeting with the contractor and Ron Despain and Jeff Poling and Kelly. I saw him come right over here. He came right off 18, stopped. I went out and talked to him. And he goes, this golf course is awesome. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, what's the last par 3 there, 17? I'm like, yeah. He goes, you got to knock those hills down. And that's everybody's reaction the first time they play that hole. Honestly, there's not a lot of people that go, what a great blind shot you have there. Now, it grows on people, right? Because we all like to have those courses that we play and those holes that we play that we have all the local knowledge, and we're playing with our buddies, and it's down to the last match on 17, and you're like, I know where to hit it, and you don't. Everybody loves that. And you got to remember that the club was built as a men's-only private club. So it was built back in the day with that in mind. Oh, and I could see that. As a private club, that's awesome. But it's not our clientele anymore. We're 95%, destination golf. And so when you talk about that from that context, it's the right decision. And so I think the majority of the feedback for sure is, thank God we're knocking those hills down on 17. And I think there is not one person out there that I have talked to that said, oh, I thought your bunkers were great. Why are you fixing them? Okay? So it's really comes down to just the manipulations on the golf course, where we're filling in a bunker, where we're expanding a bunker, any changes that we're making to the golf course. And the most significant one is 17. And those don't, people are, I think, by nature a little scared of change. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Just fix all the bunkers, but leave the design the exact same way it was. Well, it was designed in 2001. A lot's changed since 2001. The ball has changed. The clubs have changed. The fitness of the golfers have changed, not for me, but for them. So, people hit the ball further than they ever have. Number one, again, hole number 1 is a microcosm of this whole project. We added length because it was necessary, because the way the game's evolved for the championship golfer. But we added a bunker we expanded the bunker on the right, so we added bunker square footage there because it makes the hole play the way it was originally designed. You can't just shoot the gap and have a little flip wedge in to the green. Now you've got to hit it out to the bunker, and now you're going to have 150 to 170 yard shot into that green. But because of that, we took away the bunker in front that guarded the green, because who wants to carry a 7-iron to a front pin over a bunker. So we opened up that approach so that now you can see where you're aiming. We can now put a front pin in that green, which is a miracle, okay? and now the whole plays, it plays the way it was meant to be played. So, it's evolution. I mean, it's 13 years. How much have you changed in 13 years? Well, the golf course has changed too. So I think all the changes we've made have been for the positive, and I think as people come out and play, even if they have some reservations or some concerns, I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised. And I guarantee you they're all going to be happy about the condition of our bunkers. I've played some shots out of the new bunkers. You almost want to hit it in a bunker now. I mean, they're not that it's easy to get out of them. They're still steep. They still have all the same lips. I mean, we didn't soften the bunkers. They're not any easier to play out of, but the sand is better. You can get your club underneath it. You can potentially put some spin on the ball. So, compare before and after, night and day.
So on 17, and I've played the course 7 or 8 times, and every single time I miss right. Well, there's bunkers right, but no, there's 80 yards of grass left to where I could miss left. So even though I'm going to be able to see the pin now from the tee box, I'm still going to miss right. You watch. As soon as I play it and I hit it in the bunkers right, I'll text you and let you know. So
okay.
You mentioned earlier Fred Couples is involved, had been a little bit in the beginning. What's his involvement going to be now with this enhancement? Has he seen the plans, and is he going to be coming back to do anything with the opening of the golf course when you open here in a few months?
So Fred and his agent Lynn and I have been in constant communication through the summer. We are kind of waiting to finalize the actual date because he does have, his Mitsubishi and Bridgestone shoots around that time. So, and those are large sponsors of his. So, we obviously are deferring to that. But we're shooting for the December 5th or 6th, Friday or Saturday time frame, which would be a kind of a grand opening, VIP grand opening type deal. Obviously, we've been pre-opened by then, being November 1st, our opening date from overseeding. But that's the date that fits on the schedule the best. Make sure that we're off the paths. And Freddie's going to come visit the property and probably do some community outreach clinics and stuff with our community, our Auction India community. And we're looking forward to just having him be re-engaged with the property. Again, when a property goes through the financial hardships that Southern Dunes has and the changes it has, when you talk about a golf course that was built as a men's-only private club catering to the few, changes ownerships 4 times, and now is a public daily fee, kind of a resort-style golf course because we do have the casino with Harrah's down the road about 5 minutes. When you make that transition, things happen. And, Freddie kind of, not that he has a bad taste in his mouth or anything, but, he wasn't really connected with the property the way that he wanted to be or that we wanted him to be. So it's a great opportunity to not necessarily mend some old fences, more just new starting point going forward where Freddie and Southern Dunes and the Auction India community and Trim Golf all kind of get some synergy moving forward so that we can work together for the betterment of the property.
So as we were sitting here, Earl Schmidt just posted a question. He's sitting at home watching, and you may not be able to answer this because I don't know if you're going to know from this year with the enhancement starting, but how many rounds are you looking to do in 2015, and are you looking to increase that over 2014, and is there any way you can speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Well, we are going to do more rounds in 2015 than 2014 because of the summer enhancement project. But 2014 was a good start for us. I mean, we had record March, record April, record February. So those were all very good months. So I guess I shouldn't guarantee that we're going to do more rounds in 2015. But we are hoping to do more rounds. We hit the 30,000 round number in 2013. We will likely be shy of that this year, or right at it is my guess, just because of the amount of rounds we slowed down through the summer. I mean, 9-hole rounds, it's a great, I'm telling you, the unlimited golf, we did offer unlimited golf this summer. So if you come down, it's not just you're playing 9. You could play 9, 18, 27, 36, and people are taking advantage of that, but it does deter some people away. Some people want to play the traditional 18. So I do anticipate us going up in rounds a little bit in 2015, but more than that, more than anything, we're looking to go up in enjoyment in 2015 for our guests. So,
I like that.
It's not a bottom line push to push as many rounds through here as possible. Getting everybody to pay, what it's worth. Sure. I mean, that's always an industry deal, but I think with our opportunities that we have with CopaCard and TrueCard and different outlets that we have, we put fair pricing out there in the market. So, I'm not really looking to, I don't want to do 40,000 rounds to this golf course. I can't handle it. We want to do 30,000 rounds a year and have it be a quality experience for the guest and so that they want to come back. And that's how you create demand, and then that's how we long-term survive and get to the financial standpoint we want to be.
So I've been trying to force you guys into using Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus a little bit more, and you've been doing a fantastic job with that. So I'm going to challenge you here in 140 characters or less. Tell me as if I have no idea what's going on with this enhancement project, when it's all finished, sell me Southern Dunes in 140 characters or less. I like it that you're thinking about it, though.
Let me think.
You might need to grab JC if he can.
Quality bunkers.
I'm going to check your character count here.
Oh, boy. Okay, here we go. Quality bunkers, BNKRS. All right. Use all the abbreviations you can. Quality bunkers, enhanced practice facility, new short course, pure golf experience.
You got 55 characters of hashtags left. I mean, very well done. That makes me want to come play it, though. The new short course. And I made those as individual sentences. So, perfect creativity. I love that. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day. I know you're busy right in the middle of this enhancement, but I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to just kind of give us any final comments that you have about the enhancement project, and make sure that everybody that's listening and watching is first on that list to come play whenever you guys reopen.
Well, I just would encourage everyone. I mean, you don't have to wait till we reopen. You can come down and check out the front nine now that it's been open.
I guess I didn't realize you were going to do that, because when you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I can come down and see it beforehand. So I don't know why.
Get a little preview, right? Yeah, but we offer a summer program that we're extending through the first 2 weeks of September called the Summer Six Pack. For $99, you get 6 rounds of golf, and that's unlimited golf right now. All right, so you can play 9, 18, 27, 36. So 6 days of golf, 6 beverages, which you could get Scott Pinstripe, 6 Titleist golf balls, Pro V1s, half dozen, okay? And you get 6 50% off coupons for our restaurant, okay? So that every time you come down, you're getting 50% off your entree. So there's no better deal than that in the entire valley.
No, there's not.
So we're doing that because we want people to come down and see the progress. We would hope that someone would come down once a week for 6 weeks and go, look at all the stuff they're doing, So that's the first thing. The other thing I would tell you is that, we're on the dynamic pricing model, which means, you can find the right tee time for the right price for the right rate to come play us anytime you want. Granted, that might be a twilight time that doesn't have practice facility anymore, or it might be a Saturday morning tee time that's in high demand and you're willing to pay a little more for it. Whatever it is, we are on the dynamic pricing module, so you'll be able to find the right tee time for the right price, I promise. The second thing is we do some tremendous online specials. We have great partnership with Oakley where you get if you're looking for a pair of sunglasses, you can come down here and get a pair of sunglasses and a round of golf, probably for less than what you'd pay retail for a pair of sunglasses. Don't tell Oakley all that, but I mean, that's the truth. So I would just tell you, we have great promotions, and they're all promoted through our website. We do have a best online rate guarantee through our website, so You're not going to pay booking fees like you do at Golf Now or teeoff.com. So you're going to see the same price. So book it through our website and save a few bucks. You know, we try to be active in Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and you know, we're growing into the Google Plus realm. So you know, we're trying to do everything we can to communicate out there and be a part of the golf community in Phoenix. I mean, we're ranked as high as fifth in the state in places you can play. We're a top 100 place you can play, top 100 casino course, top 100 resort course. I mean, it's all over the rankings. It's worth it. If you haven't played it, come down. If you have played it, come more often. It's really going to be a great experience when we reopen, but it doesn't mean it can't be a great experience now.
And you have really good shirts. I wore my Auction Southern Dune shirt today. I love how this thing fits. So
you look good. You look good.
Purple is my color. It makes me look a little bit more tan. Well, and I like that comment. If you haven't played it, come on down, and if you've played it, come more often. I want to see that on a bumper sticker.
There you go.
I like that.
I got to tell you, JC Wright, our head golf professional, does a great job. He manages most of our social media, and you know, we all kind of pitch in, but he's the one that really owns it, and he's done a great job with that, and he's really taken this whole idea to heart. And you know, he comes in my office all the time and goes, "Oh, have you thought about this, boss?" And I'm like, "That's a great thought. Let's get it going." But, you know, just the little details of reopening a new facility, whether it's, you know, we power washed and sealed all the exterior wood of the building in the last week. I mean, that's JC and his team. So, you know, we have an excellent team down here with Kelly, our superintendent, and JC, our head pro, and Michael, our F&B director, and we just brought on a new sales and marketing manager, and Devin, who you know, we're not kissing Sam off into the sunset yet, but you know, we still got him around here doing some stuff. So, you know, we have just an amazing team and great support from Trin Golf with Ricky, yourself, and Chris, and great ownership with Auction. I mean, there's just so much good synergy down here. If you need, you know, if you want to go feel good about the world, come down here and visit us. So.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again so much. I'll make sure this gets shared anywhere and everywhere I can. I'll get a link to you as soon as possible. I'll pass it around here around the office, and I can't wait to get down there and try this course. And you know what? I don't have a tee time on Saturday, so you might be seeing me this weekend.
Come on down. We'd love to have you.
Excellent. Well, take care, and we'll talk soon, all right?
All righty. Sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.